We're supposed to do about 5% each year for the next 20 years. So hopefully we'll have some money set aside to be able to do that this year, and we'll get that out on the streets. We do have, with the some of the ARPA fund money, again, right now we have the Emmons and Lincoln pump stations scheduled for that money. We've already started on that. We've got the boundary survey completed. We brought in a ground penetrating radar to locate underground utilities in that area, as well as fuel tanks. So we're moving forward with that, and we're working with Fishbeck on the designs of the pump station. So we anticipate that the projects will be, the project plans will be done in July, late July, early August for that. Moving on, we're looking at, again, the 2022 reconstruction projects and water main replacement, resurfacing and sectioning program. This year, the reconstruction, we're looking at Chandler from Southfield to Monte. For the resurfacing, we're looking at Buckingham from 4th Street to Porter, and Mayfair from Ferris to River Drive. The sectioning program, we're going to focus on the southwest area of the city. And again, that'll be coming out this year. For the
James, you said Mayfair. Is that the street that you were talking about?
Mayflower, I'm sorry, Mayflower.
All right.
Yeah, I apologize. Thank you, Mayor. And then with, we've already discussed quite a bit about the water loss and leak detection study and reporting. We've been working with Mayor, the city manager, Lisa Griggs, John Kazoo, the DPW staff, to try to come up with ways that we can reduce our water loss. As we talked about and you approved, which was a great approval, I want to add, is that leak detection equipment. Steve Swerve from our office is retired from Taylor. He used that equipment in the city of Taylor. And it's an outstanding way to find the water, water main leaks and that. As they reported on the June, we found a water main that was leaking directly into the sewer system. Steve put together used the software from the water main breaks and leaks. And he estimated that we were probably losing about 250,000 gallons per day of water. So with DPW staff, they got that repaired. So, we're moving in the right direction, and we're hoping to really start getting this water loss under control. We figured that that's probably saved the city between $100,000 and $150,000 a year. We're doing the same thing with the Meyer development. They're doing a large expansion. They were having issues with their fire protection system, so they got a hold of John Meyer and Angie Dayfield, who works on the fire protection systems for the city. They were trying to figure out why they couldn't achieve their flows and their pressures there at the for the expansion area. And Steve from our office went out and did some flow testing in the areas. And he did find that an area where one of the valves was shut off, which was causing a dead-end line to the Meyer development. So the city DPW was able to open that valve up, and we've now increased the pressures and flows to the facility. So that's been a real plus for that. So they're working right now just to see if that'll resolve all the issues that they were having with their fire protection. They also, Steve, along with the DPW, installed 10 of these leak detection monitors in that area. So they're looking to see if there could also be water main leaks in there. I believe they were pulling the equipment today to determine whether or not they found anything on there. We're also looking with the leak, with preserving water and saving water loss. Steve looked into some of the meters. He tested several of the meters that were brought back that were malfunctioned from the city, and we determined, or he determined that that the water loss is not it's very low when we have high flows. But when you say maybe have a leaky toilet or something like that, the meters aren't as the meters that they're using now are not as accurate as the newer meters are that are out there. And the current meters that are in the system are on a battery system, and the batteries only last 10 years, and they're non-replaceable at this point. Most of the meters on the system are about 10 years old, so Steve is working with the Department of Public Works on some new meters. So as they have to replace a meter, we put in these new meters that will read a lot less flow. They're non-mechanical reading devices, so they can pick up the flows a lot better than the traditional meters. And lastly, I just wanted to talk about the retention basin repairs. We've been working on the retention basin, doing the concrete, sealing the concrete, floors, walls, and all that. One of the issues we were having is one of the valves we couldn't operate. The anchor on the valve, which is a concrete anchor, was severely deteriorated. So I asked Steve to take a look at that as well, and he worked with the city's Department of Public Works to come up with a anchoring system that would secure that valve. And I included pictures in my report of that. You can see that the Department of Public Works did a great job manufacturing a bracket, and then Steve installed that, and now the valve will work, which is now great news because that'll help us control the flows going into the retention basin, and then we can start working on finishing up the retention basin repairs, the concrete repairs in there. We also have some backflow preventers in the troughs of the retention basin. Steve found out what type they are, and he's working on, we're going to try to replace those. What the valves are there for is when the retention basin is empty, it allows water, underground water, to come back into the basin so that it doesn't push up the basin itself, because it's basically like a tub. And if the water, if the groundwater is too high, then it could raise the basin. Well, what we found when we were doing the work on the retention basin in the past, that these valves are stuck in an open position or stuck in a closed position. So when they're stuck in an open position, water from the basin just goes into the groundwater, and then it comes back up in the basin once the basin's empty, but we can't control the water and be able to work on the basin. So we're working on that, and hopefully we'll be able to have all this done. And again, we'll be using the ARPA money to make those repairs. So sorry for such a long report. I just wanted to try to be as thorough as I could on this one. And that's all. All
right, James, when we have projects in town, like you have the Taco Bell project, for instance, there were pre-construction meetings with them, weren't there?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah.
All right. I'm having concerns with the way that Cleophas is left on a daily basis. The last week it was just a swamp, basically, covered with mud and it has been for a good portion of that. What requirements do they have to keep Cleophas clean?
We're working right now with the building department to get that monitored. The issue we're having right now is we only have an inspector out there when they're doing water or sewer utility works. So if they're working on the building grounds, and that then it would be the building officials doing the inspections there, but that's not a full-time inspection. So it leaves the contractors kind of, you know, unwatched at times. So we're now working a lot closer with the building department so that we can keep a lot better handle on how they keep these roads and make sure that they are clean and the sites are kept in good condition.
Well, what is the requirement that's discussed at the pre-con for that? I mean, what are
the pre-con meeting, they are told that they have to keep the roads clean on a daily basis. That is on a daily basis, yes. So, and I think, like I said, we're working very closely now with the building official, and I think how we'll try to work that now is if we're not on site because they're not doing utility work out there, yet the contractor is working on building materials and installing the building portion of it, that if they are keeping the road clean, then the building official can go and do a stop work order on the project and tell them that they can't do any more work on the project until the site is cleaned.
So it'd be through the building department that enforcement would be basically done?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you have questions for either Hennessy or for Mr. Kazoo?
For the chair, please.
Yes, go ahead.
John, you had mentioned the bags of yard waste. You're accepting them at the yard. How long are you going to be doing that?
We would give the courtesy to the homeowner, just bring your bags in at no charge, and the city will have to take those to the compost site. But we'll take them as long as they have them, but compost bags. Do not bring in cans, because we don't have that ability right now.
Okay, thank you.
Through the chair?
Yes, go ahead.
You want to go first, Mike?
Okay, I got a quick one. John, I tried to email you a couple times today, but obviously your computer's not working. Corner of Electric and Pagel, looks like we had a driver take out a stop sign. It's laying there. I put it up on this curb. Can we get somebody over there to take care of that?
If you have provided that email, yes, we will tend to that.
Okay, Councilman. Yes, go ahead.
John, going back to the leaves and the bags, are you going to have set times, set days for that? I don't want to see a resident sitting there waiting for somebody to come, you know, and open the gate.
It's a difficult item. Our front dispatch office, we had one of our employees that was on light duty. He's gone back to full-time duty. So it's either penny, or penny.
Okay. But
there's only one person, and only time she, right now, knows that there's somebody at that front gate is if they blow the horn.
Oh, they have to blow the horn? I thought there's no buzzer there?
There is, but it does not go into her office. It's
okay.
Into that
okay,
front office right there at the gate.
Okay. All right. What about, I'm thinking today because of the high winds, what if there's tree limbs and sticks? Is that acceptable?
Well, we have to tend to if it's I think we're going to have to. We don't want to, but I think we're there for the citizens and we're going to have to.
Okay.
Because a lot of the seniors, or let's say a lot of the citizens don't have the means of getting rid of the branches. Now, if it were warmer weather, they could actually cut them up into 3-foot sections and bundle them, and they would get picked up with the compost.
Right.
But the compost is now sunset, and it's not being picked up.
Right. Okay. My next question is for Mr. Hollingsworth.
Yes.
Mr. Hollingsworth, I want to make sure that I understand the meters that you're talking about, that you said the batteries last 10 years. Are those our water meters in the houses?
Yes, that is correct. What we found when we've been doing the work with on this study is that there's quite a few meters, in probably excess of 100 meters, that are being sent in, that are not working correctly. And a lot of them are, either batteries or something malfunctioning. But the battery life is only 10 years. When they did purchase the meters, there was actually battery replacements, but now that there are no battery replacements. So as we move forward, then we're looking at doing the newer meters that will detect lower flows, so that all the flows that are going through the water system are being recorded.
Okay, so how would a resident or even a business, I would assume the business is also affected, how would they know if something was going on?
I believe, and John may have be able to answer that better than I can, but I believe what happens is they'll get a no read from radio. So these are all being read by radio control. Mm-hmm. And so they'll get a no read from the radio control, which tells the water department that there's a problem with that meter. The water department will go out and they'll investigate the meters.
Okay. And that should be long before we see a water bill.
Yeah. I think, John, I'll let you kind of answer that a little better, because you know more about your system as far as the reading.
Actually, what I would like to offer, I think if Lisa's still on, and it looks like she is, she could probably give everybody a better idea of how water meters are communicating with City Hall, and some of the other items that will pop up on the screen if they're having issues. Lisa, are you there to alleviate any of that? Anyways, doesn't look like she's there. What'll happen is our meters are all read at City Hall, and if we have problems or they're not getting reads from them, they should come up onto the computer system. Okay. If they're having a lot of homeowners may say that they believe their water bills are high, we have an individual that will go out and check them, and if it's still too high, we may have to send it out to have it tested to see if it's running high, or let's call it running fast or running slow. And as Jim said earlier, one of his associates has tested approximately 100 of these already on our behalf. And on the lower reads, it's showing that they're reading slow. And what that means for us is we're losing money. But on the medium and higher reads for a residential meter, they're reading fine. It's just on the lower flows, they're slow.
Would that be a red flag, though, too, that shows up on the software, on the computer screen for finance?
I don't think so. And the reason we're finding it is because Hennessy, through one of their employees, is actually testing these.
Okay.
And he's the one that is finding these issues with these meters. And as Jim also has said, these meters, I believe they started to the city started to install them approximately 8-9 years ago. And now they're starting to fail. And what we're finding, and we didn't know this, is about maybe 6 months ago, we can no longer get replacement batteries for these meters. The industry's moved on.
John, isn't this something that the water group has been discussing and haven't made recommendations about which way they're going to go with? Would that be accurate?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Further items for Hennessy or Mr. Kazoo?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, real fast.
Yep, go ahead.
Mr. Kazoo, in your report, you mentioned it, and I forget the amount of times, but you said you visited City Hall and the band shell several times. What kind of calls are those, and is that common to go to City Hall and band shell, what type of repairs are you doing there?
It could be something as silly as a light out, any type of building maintenance they may need, a switch. It could, stuff like that. Or it could be maybe a toilet is continuing to run.
All right, thank you very much, John.
Anything else for either of the gentlemen? Okay. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, to the chair to John. John, I know disability or on, you know, they have other issues. You have anybody, you have some people off, don't you? Like a long-term reserves is gone for a long time?
We have
and some other people, so you're actually down. Okay.
We're down approximately 4 people.
Okay, that's what I thought you were saying before. So basically all this, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we have one that is in the military. We don't know when he'll be back. Supposedly he was going to be deployed for 1 year. And we've got a couple of injured people.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So you're down 4 people, and yet you're still doing all this along with Hennessy. So it's like every...
It's always a new challenge. So it's always a new challenge with what's happening, and it seems like a lot of our infrastructure is failing right around us.
Yeah, I was through the chair. I was surprised about the water meters because that was the latest and greatest, and we spent millions for that program. And now to find out, which is a long time, but that you can't replace the batteries is almost like saying, well, it's basically throwaway. You got to start all over again. And that's kind of hard when we spent all that money to put them in, and now we can't actually fix them because we don't have the ability because of the replacements are not available anymore. So that's going to be interesting to see how that works out. But thank you, and thanks, James, for that long explanation on. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Anything further for either of the gentlemen? Okay, then with that, we'll be moving on to citizen communications. So if James, you would free up or allow them to unmute themselves, and then we'll. So is there citizen who would like to address council? Has everybody been set up so that they could unmute themselves if necessary, James?
Yeah.
Okay, once again, is there any citizen communication for council? Okay, then we will move on to reports of mayor and council, or reports of mayor and council. Council President Salcido.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll make it brief. It's been a long night, but I just want to let everybody know that I've had a couple of text messages from residents that their trees were finally trimmed. So thank you very much. Also glad to hear that the police station will finally get some of those well-needed improvements. Hope to see the fruits of that soon. Lastly, recently made a purchase at Labs Flowers on 1382 4th Street. It's a family-owned business since 1929. A lot of good Christmas items and other special occasion flowers. Please shop Lincoln Park if you can. And I will follow up on trees on Riverbank, Wilson, and Michigan in the next 2 weeks. That's all, Mayor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Higgins.
Thank you. The Hands of the City had a fundraiser at the library yesterday. I personally want to thank everybody who was involved, but I also want to announce that we raised a little over $300 for the library, so it was successful, and again, thanks for everybody that participated. I have been asked several times, and because I was an employee at the schools for so long, I want to make everybody aware. The security at the high school, well, the mayor said it earlier, we have a police officer at both the high school and the middle school. And in the last year before I left, every single lock on every single door was replaced in the entire high school. There is cameras throughout the entire high school. The only places you are not on cameras if you are in a bathroom, a locker room, or in the back of a classroom. So in case of an emergency, you can be found very quickly. Also, I would like everybody to know that the police department has provided training on more than one occasion for the sort of emergency that happened out at Oxford. So the Lincoln Park Police and the Lincoln Park High School work very closely on these situations, and I just want everybody to know as much security as can humanly be done at the high school is done. And I want to let people know that. Moving on, as I do every year, I'd like to remind everybody to shop Lincoln Park. This is the Christmas season, and this is all our shops depend heavily on making it through the Christmas season. If you do not want empty buildings in Lincoln Park, then you have to shop in Lincoln Park. A few suggestions. We have dress shops. We have smoke shops. We have one of the best candle shops around. We have a very new, very nice cutlery shop. We have two of the nicest bakeries, I believe, downriver. We have two different collector shops downriver. We have a nice pet shop. Who doesn't want a nice fuzzy dog for Christmas? We also have a couple of uniform shops for people who would like to buy something for someone who's at work. We have several t-shirt shops in Lincoln Park. We have several smoke shops, and a lot of the smoke shops carry a lot more than just tobacco. Really, a lot of Christmas gifts can be found there. Again, please shop Lincoln Park. I was at the Fantasyland grand opening over the last week. Fantasyland is absolutely gorgeous this year, as it always is. It's a great family tradition for Lincoln Park. Please come out, have a good time. I also would like to leave my condolences for Paul's family. As the mayor said earlier tonight, Rosie was a good guy, and there's just no other way to put that. If you ever needed anything, if you ever knew him, he was a truly good guy, and he will be missed. That's all tonight, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Tobin.
Good evening, everybody. I don't have much. Councilman Higgins covered most of my stuff. I was also at the opening for Fantasyland, and they have a different setup this year, and it's really opened it up more. It's beautiful. Please go check it out. While you're there, make sure you see the council tree, the mayor's tree, the exchange club tree, the clerk's tree. Everybody's trees are up there. They're beautiful. So make sure you get an appointment to go see them. You don't want to miss it this year. It's really done nice. Also, please shop Lincoln Park. Everybody needs to find something in Lincoln Park that they love, that they want to share with everybody. Buy their stuff and give it as gifts, because it's the season to give. Other than that, watch out for the kids. The weather's going to get bad, the snow, the ice, and drive around and check out some of the decorations in Lincoln Park. Some people have put so much effort into their homes this year. So take a ride and see it, and everybody stay safe until we see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilwoman Ross.
Thank you, Your Honor. I know that you yourself touched on the Goodfellow donation box, but I just want to put it out there again. There is a donation box at City Hall, and they are accepting donations of new toys, clothing, and non-perishable food items. All items will go to help Lincoln Park children and their families have a very Merry Christmas. Also, a reminder that the Wayne County Health Department hosts a vaccine clinic at the Lincoln Park Community Center on Mondays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and on Wednesdays from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. I do have a quick question, Your Honor. Fantasyland is still by reservations, right?
Yes.
By appointment?
Yes.
Okay, because the last newsletter I saw didn't state that. I just want to make sure. It's just by appointment and masks are required,
Yes.
right? Okay. And then I want to read, because this is so well put, I just want to read you the email that I received from the Lincoln Park Museum on the Bill Morrison artwork made in Lincoln Park. On Saturday, December 11th, the Historical Museum will hold an in-person signing event for Bill Morrison's new original artwork made in Lincoln Park. Prints of the limited edition piece will be offered for sale to the public, and signing that day begin at 1 p.m. Please note that access to the museum will be limited to more than 20 people at a time, and masks are required. The signed prints, measuring 11 by 14 inches, are suitable for framing, will be offered for $50 each. On-site sales can be made by check, cash, credit card, or PayPal, and there is a limit of 2 prints per person. Those individuals who are unable to make it or who live out of town can order a signed print for $55, which includes the shipping and handling fees, and will be sent in a mailing tube via USPS first class mail. Signed prints will also be available at the museum gift shop after the 11th and throughout the month during regular museum hours, Wednesdays and Saturdays from 1 to 6 p.m. And we are extremely grateful to Mr. Bill Morrison for generously offering his commemorative work as a gift toward the museum's fundraising efforts. I can't wait myself to see that drawing. And it comes at a great time because Christmas is right around the corner, so it makes I think it'll make a nice Christmas gift. And speaking of Christmas gifts, don't forget there's still a few copies of the Lincoln Park Museum book, history book, and the museum is also already accepting orders for their paver bricks. So I think those would make good Christmas gifts as well. And I just want to thank the DDA for their beautiful tree lighting ceremony. I know there was quite a few people out there, and I don't think the weather was that bad this year. So, thank you. That's all I have. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilwoman Dupre?
Hello. As we continue in the holiday season, I just want to stress the safety of the kids and the residents in the neighborhoods. Watch out for your neighbors, whether it's snowing or whatnot, particularly our senior citizens. And animals need to be brought into in this weather, and we do have ordinance on that as well. So that's something you need to keep an eye on. And please watch your fences in this weather because they can easily blow down. And with that, I will say good night and God bless.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Kelsey?
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll make it kind of quick. I had a chance to go to Cherry Cutlery, which is the new place in town that sells case knives, and bought myself a nice Christmas present. And the ironic part was I was with my wife, and the machine credit card didn't work, so I had to borrow money from her to come up with the cash to pay for the knife. So it kind of like really needed a Christmas gift for both of us. So, but it's a very nice place. They have a lot of case knives in there. It's very nice. Occasionally, people post on social media events they think are kind of funny, but they're not funny. As recently, the people were posting about the issue of the sweepers being out and about, and I don't think that's funny. We spent a lot of money to put those sweepers back out, and they were doing the road, and 2 of them are still down, but we got 2 going. So people, instead of making a joke, they ought to be more supportive of the city when we try to strive to get things going in this city. And that's the only thing I can say. And other than that, I say, well, good night. Everybody has the next meeting at the holiday. Thank you.
All right, thank you. While you're driving around town, you can take a look at the holiday displays. The Community Improvement Commission, as they did last year, has a program in place to which 4 residents will be receiving holiday decoration awards. It's a nice ornament that is given out to them. But you can have a voice in how these awards are given out. The city is divided into basically 4 sectors, and members of the commission have gone through the city and made 3 choices from each of the sections, and one of the 3 will be chosen by your votes or your likes on the Community Improvement Commission's Facebook page. What we will do is establish a link on that. James, if you could have Ashley do that to where they can go to the city's website and get a link to the Community Improvement Holiday Awards. And vote for your favorite. There should be 12 photos on there, and I've seen 3 of them anyway, and they are very well represented. And as you drive around town, there's a lot of creative people out there that did some nice decorating. And even if you put, a couple lights out, I thank you for that, because it's just, it makes what the season is all about. Just a quick word on Fantasyland, because when it comes down to it, there's going to be a little bit of disappointment this year. And that comes that not everybody that's going to want to be able to get into Fantasyland is going to be able to do so. But with the restrictions that are coming out and the safety protocols that we're attempting to follow there, it's a necessary thing, and that's where the appointments had to come down to it. We'd be hoping for full access again with the new year next year, but we'll see how things go with that. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Forward.
All right, clerk, call the roll.
Councilperson Salcido,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
and Mayor Cox.
Yes.
Thank you.
Night, everybody.
Thank you.
Night, everybody.
Everyone.
Thank you.